Have you ever had a woman approach you with a greeting that, at first glance, seems like an ordinary greeting, but something about the way she does it, her gestures and her gaze, leaves a tingle in your brain? You don't know what it is, but your instinct tells you there's something more going on here. Well, let me tell you, it's not your imagination. When a woman greets you a certain way, she may be silently shouting, "I love you." Sounds too good to be true? Well, you're wrong. And that's why many people don't notice. They live in ignorance while she sends out crystal clear signals. In this video, we're going to delve into the 4 undeniable signs that she likes you. Signs linked to the way she greets you in her nonverbal language. And if that weren't enough, we'll analyze everything through the lens of Stoicism. Yes, that ancient philosophy that incredibly fits perfectly into today's world of relationships. You'll see why the Stoic stance helps you perceive those signals without falling into despair or hysterical overinterpretation. A woman doesn't usually confess with words, "You're driving me crazy," but rather reveals herself in the way she greets. And be careful, she's not limited to a shy hello or an emoticon in the chat. These are gestures that, if you recognize them, will reassure you that she's interested. Ready to discover the magic behind the moment she greets you, and why perhaps it means she loves you. I promise you, it sounds crazy. But if you stay until the end, you'll never see a greeting like this again. Forget seduction. Live the Stoic spirit. Before listing the 4 signs, I want you to understand that the most powerful thing isn't seducing her, but cultivating your inner balance. Stoicism tells you you only control your actions, not her reaction. Do you realize the liberation this entails? You no longer obsess over every micro gesture, but instead read the signals calmly and act without anxiety. Incredibly, this serenity makes you more attractive as you don't appear urgent or beg for validation. 1. Inner tranquility. If you're focused on whether someone likes you or not, your body language becomes contaminated with nerves and you become defensive. Stoics aren't worried about the other person's response. Their confidence is based on their composure. Thus, almost paradoxically, you project a mysterious aura that draws attention. 2. Detachment from the outcome. Want to know if their greeting indicates love? Perfect. But you won't make a big deal out of it if they don't reciprocate. You're open to discovering what's there, without tying your worth to their behavior. That equable attitude of neither forcing nor repelling generates instant magnetism. 3. Accurate observation. Equanimity gives you clarity. Instead of obsessing or fantasizing, you accurately identify the signs she displays when greeting you. And by recognizing them, you act intelligently, without playing crazy guessing games or making convoluted interpretations. The first sign: devastating eye contact. The first clue that a woman secretly loves you is reflected in the way she greets you with her gaze. There's a type of eye greeting that goes far beyond the usual hello. There's intense eye contact, as brief as a heartbeat. But in that space, you feel an inner spark. What makes it so special? 1. The spark of a purposeful gaze. It's not your typical polite gaze. It's that look that gives her away, a mix of curiosity and warmth. Suddenly, it seems like the world pauses, and her eyes bore into yours, communicating something she doesn't even dare to verbalize. If you catch her, or she catches you with that look in a greeting, believe me, there's a latent fire. 2. The luminosity of her expression. Stoicism helps you see without exaggerating. Observe if her face lights up, if her pupils dilate a little, if her eyebrow makes a micro gesture of satisfaction when she sees you. It's milliseconds, but a calm person notices it. That eye contact isn't improvised. She doesn't give that look to just anyone. 3. The tempered reaction. When she greets you like that, don't react with a goofy grin or hysterical nervousness. Return her gaze calmly with a faint smile, the smile of someone who recognizes the connection, that fleeting exchange. It may be enough for him to sense your confidence and trigger his desire to get closer. The second sign is unusual physical proximity. If, during the greeting, his body moves closer than usual, be careful. This is a clear sign of attraction. I'm not referring to a simple casual brush, but rather to that intentional closeness that breaks the barrier of cordiality. You might notice her perfume invading your space or her shoulder brushing against yours, more than would be considered normal for a simple hello. One thing is not a mistake. Some women approach you unintentionally, but when there's interest, I guarantee you'll notice. For example, if in a crowded place she sneaks up next to you, under the pretext of hearing you better, putting her arm around yours, Or if she greets you head-on and her torso aligns with yours without shifting her hips. These details are intentional, even if they're subconscious. 2. Reading intimate space in sociology. Intimate space is the personal radius we reserve for trusted people. If she lets you in, or rather, enters yours without hesitation, it means she feels comfortable, and at the same time, she's taking a chance to see your reaction. The Stoic man interprets this cautiously, without falling into euphoria, but he knows it's a sign that he likes you. 3. The counterbalance of naturalness. You won't become an inert block. Respond with a slight gesture of reciprocal closeness. Perhaps tilt your head a little or lower your voice to tune in. Nothing forced or invasive. A subtle, I understand your message and I like that it reinforces the dynamic. 3rd sign. The smile that is different from all the world is full of smiles. But the smile that indicates that he loves you hides its intensity with a halo of shyness. It can be an adorable pout, a soft squeeze of the lips, or a laugh in which you notice that he looks down for a second before returning to you. It is not the laugh, ha ha ha, but something more intimate and almost personal one. The knowing smile. If she greets you, and at that moment her mouth forms a line of joy, but with a reservedly intense tone, you've got a resounding impact. It means your presence brings out something deeper in her than simple courtesy. There's an aura of, nice to see you, which she doesn't express to just anyone. 2. The spark of vulnerability. The woman. In most contexts, she manages her image with precision. If she allows herself to flash that vulnerable smile that makes her look a little sweeter than usual, it means her barrier of self-protection has lowered. Who lowers barriers? Someone who feels a genuine connection, not just sympathy. 3rd, stoicism in the face of her laughter. Your job. Don't melt down or turn it into a circus. Enjoy that greeting with calm reciprocity. You can return a calm, half-smiling smile that exudes confidence. That exchange of gestures without too much verbiage creates a bond of high emotional tension. 4th sign, the exclusive greeting. We come to the most powerful clue. When a woman has you at the center of her thoughts, she greets you differently than she greets others. Notice whether she's formal or concise with others, and whether she takes her time with you, adds a different gesture, or even calls you by a special nickname. This change reveals that, in her mind, you're on a privileged level. First, comparison is the key. If you've seen her greet several people and treat them all the same except you, bingo, it's no coincidence. For example, she says a quick hello to her friends and gives you a light hug, even if it's fleeting. Or she calls everyone their real name but gives you a pet name. It definitely indicates favoritism that harbors strong feelings. 2. The overtime signal. He may greet many people with a, how are you? And continue, but with you, he stops. He asks you something more personal. Even if he says goodbye to a group, he'll leave and then return to greet you individually. This exclusive quality is his silent way of saying, you matter more to me. 3. A stoic attitude in your response. Don't respond with haughtiness or euphoria. That A greets me differently. You shouldn't become presumptuous or submissive. Simply return a genuine courtesy, imbued with your inner calm. In his eyes, you'll stand out more for your detached attitude toward need. How can I interpret these signals without over-interpreting them? One of the most common traps is that upon seeing any clue, a man starts to think outside the box. He loves me, he's mine. And sometimes that's not the case. That's why you have to maintain stoic balance. Observe carefully and don't jump to conclusions. 1. The sum of the clues. If you notice more than one of these signs repeatedly, the chances are high. But if you only notice once that he got a little too close, without anything else, it may have been a coincidence. The Stoic isn't fooled by scant evidence, nor does he disdain it if factors accumulate. 2. The consistency of his behavior. Does it occur every time he greets you? Or was it an isolated incident? If the intensity of the gaze, the unusual closeness, the special smile, and the exclusive greeting persist, their attitude is consistent. This reinforces the idea that they view you with an interest that goes beyond normal friendship. 3. Slow action. Confirming this doesn't mean you should rush into confessing eternal love. Stoicism reminds you of prudence and firmness. Move forward with measured steps. Invite her out to something in a comfortable setting. Resume deep conversations. Let the flame grow without rushing it. Why is this better than seduction? Notice how we never talk about juggling to get her to like you. You simply observe her signals and respond with composure. Why is this so effective? 1. It reverses the dynamic. You're not competing for her attention. But with the way she greets you, she's sending you silent invitations. By acknowledging them, you return her sober interest, which makes her increasingly strengthen that bond. 2. Solidity versus stridency. Conventional seduction is noisy, full of prepared phrases and posturing. Stoicism gives you a silent solidity, much more intriguing. She notices it and experiences genuine attraction, not a superficial spark. 3. Reduce the competition. When you act calmly and not with ostentatious displays, you stand out in a landscape of desperate men. She sees you as a stable enigma, and curiosity generally outweighs 1,000 copied phrases. The next step after identifying the signs. Once you confirm that their greeting translates into, "I love you," what's next? Stoicism suggests moving forward with integrity and without pressure, without missing the opportunity to explore. 1. The invitation to a meaningful encounter. If the signs repeat themselves, suggest meeting in a setting that allows for better acquaintance. It could be a distraction-free coffee, a quiet walk. Avoid chaotic environments where conversation is difficult. Show your thoughtful side, which doesn't bore her but rather intrigues her. Listen deeply. Once you're in the meeting, avoid monologues. Ask her about her perspective on certain things, her goals, her desires, and listen without judging or interrupting. It's refreshing for her to meet someone who isn't obsessed with impressing, but genuinely values it. 3. Maintain your attention. Don't give her your full attention as if you were endlessly thirsty. Don't appear distant either. Show interest, but maintain your rhythm. The Stoic, even when interested, doesn't go wild. This balance encourages her to come closer, to seek to please you, and to reinforce her devotion. Tips to stay stoic. Stoicism is based on introspection and mastery of the mind. To avoid being infected by mass hysteria, practice habits that strengthen your inner self so you don't get derailed by an effusive greeting or a surprise. 1. Daily meditation or reflection. Take a few minutes to ask yourself, what worried me today? How did I respond? Could I have been more calm? Adjust your behavior according to the principles of composure. This builds your stability in the face of emotional ups and downs that arise in relationships. 2. Inspirational reading. Reading some reflections by Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, or Epictetus nourishes your mind with ideas of self-control. It's not like you're going to quote Seneca in the quote, but her thoughts serve as an anchor when insecurities stalk you. 3. Life beyond her. It's crucial that she not be your sun and moon, but just another star in your universe. The man who orbits only around a woman becomes a slave to her approval. The Stoic has goals, passions, and friendships, and at the same time, values the relationship. That combination is what generates inexhaustible attraction. When a woman greets you with a certain look, a closeness, a particular smile, or a greeting style that breaks her usual, attentive pattern, it reveals more than what her mouth says. It could be proof that something greater than simple affection is brewing inside her. While others get caught up in compliments and empty phrases, you, with stoic serenity, will pick up on these 4 clear signs that she likes you. And instead of rushing into the situation with strident seduction, you'll respond calmly, showing that you're neither needy nor overreaching. Paradoxically, this posture increases their attraction. Thus, you'll see that you don't need any artificial games. Simply tune your inner integrity into the way you receive their greeting. Appreciate them without getting carried away. Return some of that warmth without chasing them around like a puppy. Forget the seduction manual. This is the path of authenticity and composure, where a simple greeting can tell you, "I like you," without her saying a word. Let her see with your attitude that her signals don't go unnoticed, but that you're not a trophy on display either. And at every step, maintain the stoic essence that keeps you grounded. True magnetism is forged in that balance. If you're intrigued to discover how a simple greeting reveals so much, subscribe and turn on notifications for more content that shows you the power of stoicism in relationships. Share this video with that friend who's overwhelmed with seduction techniques and doesn't know where to turn. Leave me your comments. Have you ever had a greeting that left you feeling like, "I think he likes me"? Or have you ignored crystal clear signs that later turned out to be a hidden interest? Tell me about your experience. Remember, it's not textbook seduction that will make you unique, but rather temperance and a fine reading of those moments that most people overlook. When a woman greets you like that, she may be silently shouting that she likes you. You, as a Stoic, Interpret this calmly and reciprocally, without losing your mind or becoming indifferent, and the miracle happens. That greeting ceases to be a trivial act and becomes the beginning of something profound. See you in the next video.